Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe's Classic Video Games back with another cool pinball repair video for you this evening. If you didn't see part one, you missed out. We got in this super cool Chicago coin Gunsmoke pinball machine that's been completely repainted by somebody that we are fixing for a gentleman. He's going to go through and repaint it and all of that, but he wants us to get it working well. So we did a previous video where we looked all through it, ordered some parts, found some peculiar things. And now we are going to begin. We're going to begin to fix it. So if you haven't seen us work on these before, this is actually the third Chicago coin Gunsmoke that we've had in our shop. This peculiar thing happens where we fix a game, a specific title like this Gunsmoke, and then other people see the video and go, psh, I've got that game. I got to get it to these guys and they can fix it. We can fix about any pinball machine. It's just we keep getting the same ones because people find a video of us fixing it whenever they're searching for how to repair theirs. So somebody may have a Chicago coin gold record and they type Chicago coin gold record repair, and I haven't done a video on a gold record, so they don't even see our channel. So they don't bring me the gold record. They never hear about us. But if they were to type Chicago coin Gunsmoke, it pops up that, you know, I've got like 10 videos on YouTube, I think 11 now, repairing these things. So, but we can fix about any of them, especially if they're from one of the major manufacturers, that being Gottlieb Williams, Stern, Bally, of course, and Chicago Coin, which was the company that Stern bought out. Who did I forget? Did I forget anybody? Gottlieb, Williams, Bally, it's the big three. Stern, Chicago Coin, and then there's other ones like Russell from Spain and Playmatic. So most of those we can work on. So anyway, we got to start on this one. So the first thing I'm going to do, we tried to play it in the previous video and it just reset over and over and over again. Basically, it was still in game mode because they have the lock relay just permanently closed, which is a thing. I guess they did it, I don't know why they did that, but I guess they did it so that the on-off switch would work, but it leaves you where you're in game mode the whole time unless you get to ball 5. Well, this one, if you put the ball in the out hole, first of all, hardly anything scores, and if you put the ball in the out hole, the score motor runs nonstop. So, you know, it's not right. And I'm sure nothing's been cleaned on it. So that's what we're going to start on today. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the play field out, just get it out of the way where it's easier to work on this thing. And we can do that by unplugging those 3 Jones plugs in the back and then just lifting the whole thing out. This particular machine is not super heavy, so it hasn't been too bad whenever I've been working on it. All right, so I have tracked down where they put the on-off switch, and they put it right here. So all they did was they disconnected this wire, ran it to the on-off switch, and then ran the wire back. So they added a switch right there. These are the Chicago Coin Gunsmoke schematics. Now, here are the Chicago Coin Casino schematics. This is from 4 years later. And you will see that on the newer machines, whenever they had an on-off switch, originally Gunsmoke had no on-off switch. But on the newer machines, when they had one, they put it right there, same exact spot. They just put it between the plug and the fuse. So in other words, they installed it perfectly. We were thinking and theorizing in the previous video that maybe they have the lock relay on because that has something to do with the way they did the on-off switch or something. Nope, they did the on-off switch perfect. It's just right. That lock relay, I don't know why they have that on, but we're going to cut it off and make it work the way it's supposed to work. The guy told us he wanted it to work the way it was supposed to work. Okay, so that lock relay has obviously had the coil changed at some point because the coil, the paper is nice on it, right? So we'll cut this off. I hope the gentleman doesn't get upset. If he does, we'll put it back. I got these zip ties. Okay, so let me show you something about the, I sound like Fire Marshal Bill now. Let me show you something about these relays. you know, I work on a whole bunch of different types. These Chicago coins get a bad rep. You know, you can argue about how fun they are to play, but they get a bad rep for not being easy to repair and things like that. I don't believe that's necessarily true. I think that's just because people aren't used to working on them. But some of the things in the Chicago coin games are pretty nice, and one of them is these relays. If you look, watch the throw on these. I had thought this for a while, and then I saw our buddy Kim at the Goat Shed EM Pinball Repair Palace in Australia talking about it. And he was talking about the very nice throw on the Williams relays. And when he said that, I thought, exactly. That's what I've been thinking, right? So I had noticed that some of the relays are just easier to work on than other ones. And this is an example. Check out what's going on here. So the way these work is this coil, whenever it gets power through it, it pulls this plate flat by that magnet there. This creates a magnet whenever the power goes through it. It's an electromagnet. And it pulls this plate in. Well, the plate is attached to this little fiber board, which is connected to these. There's little slots that these switches go in, and that's what moves the switches back and forth. But on some of them, since they're smaller, it just doesn't work that great. But these are big, nice, beautiful relays with a large throw. So what that means is you've got a gap there. That's probably, I mean, that's almost 1/8 of an inch. It's probably 1/8 of an inch. Oop. That's probably 1/8 of an inch. But this moves so much, the throw is so far, that it closes it nice. So see how the big blade is making the small blade move a little bit? Right? So you can be 1/8 of an inch out and it still closes just fine. And when it moves that small blade, it rubs the contacts together, and that's what cleans them, right? So these are just great relays. So that's one thing. So I'm going through them and adjusting all of those. I haven't had to adjust any yet, but I've been cleaning some of them. I just take a little point file and clean the contacts a little bit and make sure everything's touching like it should. You've got some that connect together. That's a good one. This one's open. When the relay pulls in, it should close. And it does. The big blade makes the small blade move. Right? Now this one, well, let me find one. Where's a closed one? Are you dizzy yet? I gotta find one that's closed to show you the other side. This one is closed. When a relay pulls in, it should open and then close when you let go of it. This one, see how much the small blade moves? So it's adjusted maybe a little better than this one. Okay. And then you have some that are called make-break switches, make or break switches. So it's one way, then it goes the other way. It's basically just both switches put together. Right, so that's well adjusted. So I'm going to go through and adjust all of those first. That's the first thing. All right, folks, so I went through and I found two interesting things. I cleaned all of these switches. Now, one thing that I found was this lock coil that we cut loose. Look at the wire coming from the lug there. Right, oh, right here. That's busted. That should be connected. So I don't know if they did that on purpose so that wouldn't try to pull in since they were permanently pulling it in, or if it just broke and they did that to correct it, right? So basically the game will go into game over without the lock relay. It's just when you turn the game off and then back on, it'll come right back up in the middle of a game. Some people don't care, right? But that's not how it originally was. So if I rerouted the switch, you know. Let's say that the lock relay is working as it should. If you have a power switch and you now turn the game on, nothing's going to happen except the relays are going to have power. The lights won't have power because the lock relay is not on. So, in other words, you would hit the switch and then you wouldn't be able to tell that you did anything because the game would still sit here dark. And then if you hit the left flipper button, it would turn on the lights. So that's how it's supposed to be, you know. So I think that's how we're going to do it. But we'd have to fix that lock relay, which should be easy to do. We should be able to unwrap one wire and put it back. So let me see if I can get that out, and then we'll do that. The other thing I wanted to show you was I cleaned all the switches here on the score motor. Now on these Chicago coins, they have an issue where the platter here, the cam, is made of plastic. And it gets kind of out of round sometimes, right? So I'll show you what I mean. Let me see if I can get it to do it. It's minor. It's not that big of a deal, but it can cause problems. So look at this top switch here. Now when I turn this sucker, just watch how this switch moves. The top one. Okay, so it's going to fall down into the valley there. You can see it a little bit there. Basically what happens is as it turns, the switch doesn't stay in the same place. It'll move just barely, just a little bit, because this part might be a little higher than this part or whatever. So that's one of the issues with it. You can't hardly see it, but that's one of the issues with it. And then the other issue is the plastic on the other end where it's connected to the post on the score motor will crack. And if it cracks, it makes it where this starts slipping. So the score motor will just turn without being able to turn the cam. So it's a problem. People have talked about 3D printing new ones, but you'd have to have a copy of the old one to make a copy of, you know. And this particular one is still working just fine, but they are all ticking time bombs. Eventually that's going to have to be solved. Somebody's going to have to figure out a way to 3D print them or something. And there's 3 of them. So someone was talking about doing it, and I kind of looked it up a little bit, and it seems like for about 15 years they used these. And there were something like 50 games that used it or something like that. Or maybe it wasn't 15 years, but it was like 50 games used this same setup, but then there's some other games that it looks like use a slightly different set of platters where the indentions are at different places. So one of these days somebody's going to take care of that for us, I believe. So let me take this relay out and we'll see if we can unwind one of the wires and solder it back where it goes. Well, I took it all the way out, and unfortunately the wire that is cut is the one that's inside the spool. It's not on the outside of the spool. The other side is the one that's on the outside of the spool. So in other words, I wasn't able to pull the wire out any farther. You can see it's sticking off to the side there. So, need a new coil. And I was thinking, that can't be how they did it. They must have not done that on purpose, because if they did, they would have just cut the wire going to the lug, you would think. But who knows? So I'm going to order one of those. I cleaned all of the switches here on the relay bank, which is the game over relay. Let's see. What are we calling these? The game over relay, the second coin relay, the first ball relay, the last ball relay, the number 1 start relay, and the number 2 start relay. Very important stuff, right? So I cleaned all the switches on that with my little file. I plugged the coils back in, the bells. There's a little thing here where a little plug goes in, and then there are 2 little short plugs, and it tells you here that you can remove one of them. Remove the red one and remove the yellow one if you want to turn one of the bells off. We don't want to turn the bells off. Why would we do that? Let me see if the plungers seem free. That's going to be the knocker or something, I think. This will be the bell. And the other bell. I can't do it right now, but hopefully the game will do it. Okay, so we got that. I need to mess with this ball count unit. So let me pop it out. It looks real simple. There's not even any switches on the back of it. Just a step up and a step down. And then we have, you know, traces here. So we just need to get all that clean. And make sure it moves up and moves down. Alright, so this was a real simple one. I didn't even have to take it apart because it was moving really well. So what I did was I just cleaned off the face of it there a little bit, and then I put some synthetic grease on it. Got everything clean. It's a clean machine. Let me show you the synthetic grease. This is stuff we use. Dielectric. Where does it say it? I keep switching up the bottles. Well, it says dielectric somewhere. Where is it? Dielectric. There we go. You want it to be dielectric. If it's not dielectric, that means it's electric. It conducts, and it will short everything on that board together. You don't want that. So you put a little bit of that on there just to grease it so it can move a little better. Just so it moves a little better. Okay, so if we hit this one, it should reset. Oh, it's already reset. Okay, and then if I hit this other one, it should step up. We're on ball 0, ball 1, ball 2, ball 3, ball 4, ball 5, ball 6. Now I know there's not 6 balls, but there's 6 positions. And there's also a 0 position. So what I like to do is just go like a couple up and then see if it resets from there too. It does. So you know, it's easier for it to reset from here all the way back to there because you're putting more tension on the springs. But if you only go a little bit, you're barely putting any tension on the springs. Will it still reset like it should? And it will. And then on the back of it, like I said, there's no switches or anything on this one. A lot of times they'll have a 0 position switch that basically this little switch will open when it gets back to 0. I don't know about on a ball count unit, but on a stepper unit. But this one doesn't have that. So in my opinion, that one's good to go. So the last thing we've got to do down here, besides replace that lock coil whenever it comes in, is we need to clean all of like the little connectors and stuff. So like these Jones plugs that run over to the fuses and everything, right? These things get kind of grimy. These aren't that bad, but I'm going to clean them up with a little bit of really mild sandpaper. You can use like a Scotch-Brite pad or whatever you want to do, just to make sure they're making good connections. So they're all over the place. There's those. You can't forget about the little jumpers, right? There's some jumpers missing too. There's just a lot of crazy stuff going on here. I don't know. They've modified some of this crap. I don't even know what the hell they're doing. I'll show you. So see how there's a little jumper there that you can move? So that changes like how many plays you get for a quarter. And then the one below it says play field action adjustment, normal or stronger. Right? They've got it in normal. So you can literally make the flippers and the pop bumpers and stuff stronger by taking it out of here and putting it in there. But look how dirty the connector is too, right? But we got to do that. So that's going to make everything a little snappier, raises the voltage. The way they do that is there's a couple windings on the transformer. So you just switch to a different winding. Chicago Coin just put a jumper to make it really easy. Okay, and then down here on the bottom it says match, either out or in. And there's nothing plugged in, and there's like cut wires here. So I guess that goes to that, I suppose. So we got to figure out what in the world that is. And then look over here. Here's the flipper. Notice there's 2 connections. One of them is to turn on the lock relay that we've been talking about. Okay, and so on this side, there's only one, but look down below it. Explain that one to me. Like, what in the crap is that for? You can't hit it with anything. I don't understand. What were they doing? Why is there an extra... I just don't get what the heck that is. There's other ones too. So this one is the Gunsmoke button for the front of the machine. You need that one. And the... is that supposed to be the start button? Yeah, there's no start button here. How do you start the thing? How do you start the game? So maybe that's the start button now, and they took the Gunsmoke button off? I don't know. So we got to figure that out. There's no hole for it, though. There's another one. I mean, what the hell are they doing? Okay, so just so you say, oh, Ron just doesn't understand it. No, let me show you another one. Unknown caller. Let me see who this is. So as a local number, you go, Joe's Video Games. Nothing. This happens like 10 times a day. Hello? Nobody answers. You hang up, they call you back. Oh my God. Joe's Video Games. Doing good? How are you doing? Yeah, we do. We've got probably 100 of them or so. Uh-huh. Is it the one that was called Wii Sports? The one that came with it? It had like 5 games with it? Yeah, we've got it. It's 35. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, we open at 11 o'clock. Oh, yeah. Yeah. How old is he? Oh, yeah, we got a bunch of stuff he'll like. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah. No problem, man. We'll see you tomorrow. All right. All right, bye. Well, I'm glad I answered. Seemed like a nice guy. He wanted to buy some Wii games. Okay, so I was saying there's stuff that's been messed with. Okay, explain what the hell this is. There is a this they mounted switches that don't do anything. Like what in the world is that? And I don't think that's the slam switch, or maybe it is. I don't know. Why is there a switch just mounted underneath the playfield that nothing can touch? It's magic. All right, the one on the coin door. I got you, you sucker. Look at this. Look. That's turned off. I'm unplugged. That bolt is where the freaking start button's supposed to go. That's why they put a bolt in there. There's supposed to be a start button like this one. What are they doing to us? That's why I always take pictures of my past machines. Yeah. I knew it. There's a freaking button missing. Okay, well, we'll have to figure that out. I don't know how they were starting the game. Explain that one to me. All right, so there is a score frame vibration switch that should be in the back box. There's a playfield vibration switch. I mean, it could be that one over by the thing, but I don't know. It should have a green wire running to a blue and orange wire. And then there is a front door vibration switch and a sub-panel vibration switch, which should have a green wire running to a green and yellow wire. So of course that's the one on the door, so that makes sense, that's correct. And then this is the other one for the sub-panel, they call it. So there should be one on the playfield and one in the back box. So here is the playfield vibration switch. Not that, and also notice there's something missing there. I gotta figure out what that's for. That must have had something to do with it. And here's the one in the back box. So I have an extra switch on the right flipper that I don't know what it is, and I've got an extra switch at the out lane that I don't know what it is. So I've been looking all over schematics for like an hour, wasting a bunch of time. And I pulled up the old video of us working on one of these before, and on my other ones, the wiring goes like this. Like this does not exist. It's clean as a whistle. So all of this is absolutely not on a regular Gunsmoke. But here's the problem. I can't figure out where it originally went. So usually whenever something's hacked up like this, you figure out, oh, okay, look, this used to go over here and it hooked right there. Nope. So this is the white power wire. The only thing on the playfield that uses this is the outhole kicker, which is right here on the top side of the playfield. And on the other one, it's routed up and around just like this one is, that white wire. But on this one, instead of coming down and going down all the way down to here, so this is the white wire, this is the white wire, and the one on that side is the white wire. That's all that hooks to that wire. So on the other one, you know what I mean? It goes clean through here to there. But somehow on this one, and if it's not original, it's been there a long time. Look, it's white, but only buried in there. It's all yellowed in the part that's out, and the wires appear to be the same. So it's almost like it's a prototype or something. So I was thinking, well, maybe it's a prototype. It's got the wrong art on it and stuff. Nope. It's just been repainted by somebody. And so if you look really close, you can see the purple paint underneath it, which is what is on a Gunsmoke. That's how it's supposed to look. And then another thing you can see, just to trip you out a little bit, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but right there in the center of that white area is like a marijuana leaf. Now, I ain't tripping, I see it. Some of y'all will see it, some of you won't. It's right here. Right? So there was probably a sticker on there at some time or something. Or maybe I'm just tripping and it's like just a big, looks like a marijuana leaf to me, that's all I'm saying. I don't touch that stuff, people. Not even once. Okay, so I don't understand what the hell they were doing up here. I mean, obviously this isn't that old, but there's a white and orange wire that looks like it's part of the original wiring harness. Look, it's still cat-gutted together, you know what I mean? Okay, and then they have a switch here that connects like a yellow wire, or I guess that's yellow, to green and black. And so the green and black runs over here to the, they call that the, I think that's called the outhole switch. The outhole switch, the ball return switch, I think that's called, the ball trough switch. And then they have the runway switch. Right? But those wires should not be there. On my other one, they're not there. And it doesn't look like they hacked anything in. It's like it's part of the original harness. So it could just be that maybe they added it so long ago that you can't tell that they added it because it just looks so old. So maybe this one originally, instead of going over here, went here. And then they added a wire from here to here. I don't know. And so then you've got this you've got these 4 holes in this big square piece, and then up here you have 2 holes, right? Okay, now look at this. This is gonna trip you out. If the weed, if the pot leaf didn't already. Let me find what I was just looking at. I guess we can just look at this. Okay, so here's the kicker, the slingshot. Look at that plate. It looks like there was one of those right there, right? And then if you look at the distance between that screw and that screw. Right? There was a kicker there at some point. Now why in the world did they do that? See the switch here on the side? It's open, and then when the kicker pulls in, it closes it. Switch in the same position, it's open, and then I guess if you bend it, it would close. That's why I was thinking maybe it's a prototype. It's like they had a ball launcher on it. But it has a traditional ball launcher. So I don't know. Something don't add up. Leave your comments below. What in the hell do you think that is? And this is a white and orange that isn't hooked to anything, and they put a kep nut on. Yeah, I just don't get it. On a kicker, whenever you do that, when this closes, it gives you points. So I don't get that at all. And then we've got this one, which is an extra flipper switch that is routed into the wiring. Look, it doesn't look added. So I saw this little cardboard staple and I thought, oh, well, that's extra. And see how they've got, like, it's kind of doubled up and it loops around. But those cardboard staples are how they did it. So, like, this probably hasn't been modified. See the cardboard staples? So it looks factory, but it doesn't make any sense at all. Why would you have an extra switch there that you can't hit? I don't get that. So I looked on my other one, the video of the other one. It's not there. All of that wiring is not there. There's just 3 wires running up to here. And 2 of the wires are the green one. It just doubles up and goes back somewhere else. So you tell me, folks. I guess I'm just going to leave it and play it and not worry about it. But it'd be, I love mysteries like that. It'd be interesting to figure out what in the world, why that's like that. Very strange. So they removed this wiring here for the up post where you can change it and just have it hardwired. But here's the 2, that's the out hole switch. There's actually 2 of them stacked on top of each other, I guess just to make sure that one of them hits. And then here's the trough switch, and they are wired just how mine are wired. Okay, so watch when I play this. I'll see if I can stop it. You see that? So let's go back. I'm watching my own YouTube video again. Look, folks, that doesn't make me a narcissist. I don't know why you would think that. So you see it over here? Look, it's just clean. See how there's nothing mounted on the shooter lane? It's crazy. Something ain't right. They've been hacking again. People, come on. You got to stop the hack. People, if you're modding it, you ain't helping it. Come on, people. The hacking has got to, we got to stop all the hacking. Not even once. Okay, so I'm cleaning up these Jones plugs like I was talking about, and this smaller one here, one of the pins is broken off of. You know, I think that's the first time I've ever had that problem on one of these. So we're going to have to fix that. So then I thought, I wonder what that is. So it's a red wire. And I eventually figured out by looking at the schematics that it is this adjustment right here to set the ball return gate to either the liberal setting or the conservative setting. So it just depends on, it adjusts how often that gate opens. So I'll show you on the schematics. Okay, so this is that red wire. It's literally from there to there, okay? So they had this plugged into that. So the way this works, that's the ball return gate up on the top of the playfield. So you can do some things, and basically whenever the bonus unit gets up to a certain point, it opens up the ball return gate. And it just depends on how you've got this plugged in. You can plug one into 500 points. So when the bonus unit gets to 500 points, it opens it. Or you can plug one into 300, or you can plug it into both, or whatever, right? And so whenever that happens, the end of stroke switch on the bonus unit turns on the ball return gate relay. So that relay opens up the gate on the playfield. And that way, if you lose the ball down the right side or whatever, however it's set up, it comes back out into the shooter lane. Okay, well, it holds itself on with a switch on itself. So once it opens, it stays open. Depending on where you have this plugged in. So they had it plugged in right here, and the wire was broke. So in other words, what was going on was, as soon as the bonus relay got to that, the end of stroke switch on the bonus unit would open up the gate, and then the bonus unit, once it gets to the next thing, it would release the coil, and so that end of stroke switch would open back up. So the game must have been opening up the flap and then immediately closing it again, because plugged into there, it couldn't hold itself on because the wire's broke. But the way it's supposed to work is, it opens, closes a switch on itself that holds itself on depending on which of these it's plugged into. Now, if it's plugged into where it was plugged in, and that works, until the out hole relay fires, that will hold on. So what does that mean? It means once the ball goes through that gate into the runway, the shooter lane, that gate is going to stay open until you finally lose the ball through the flippers. All right? Now, the other way to plug it in is on this jack. So if they knew that was messed up, they could have just plugged it in here. The way they had it, the gate was completely disabled. But the other way is you plug it into this jack, and what does this one do? This one will close it as soon as the ball goes past the runway switch, which was that one we were looking at earlier up at the top of the playfield. So you shoot the ball. So you're playing, the gate's open, the ball goes through the gate and lands on the shooter lane. Then whenever you shoot the ball, it's going to go up to the top of the playfield and open the runway switch, and then re-enter the top of the playfield. When that happens, it'll open that, which will kill the gate, right? So it just depends on where you have it set. You can have it where it lasts the whole ball, or just until the one time, basically. Okay, so I plugged the playfield back in. We didn't fix the Jones plug yet, but we will. I cleaned all of the Jones plugs. Of course, I cleaned the ones that plug into the back box. Of course, we cleaned all of the relays. We cleaned the score motor, we cleaned the ball count unit, and we cleaned all of the relays on the relay bank. I believe, we cleaned the flipper switches, even though we're not going to use them yet. We haven't done anything on the bottom of the playfield yet. And we haven't done anything in the back box yet. If you saw the first video, you know we are waiting on a part. So let's plug her back in. And then, I had an electrician tell me one time on one of the videos, excuse me, he claimed he was an electrician, that it's not plugging it. Oh, you don't plug it in. Well, let me tell you something. See this little, here we go. See this little connector here on the end? I had to buy a bunch of those the other day. And you know what the company that makes them calls them? Plugs. So I'm right, he's wrong. It's been years, but I finally proved it. Okay, so the way this was wired up before, you hit this little switch. Please don't electrocute me, Mr. Switch. And whenever you do that, it would turn everything on, and you'd be right in the middle of a game. So I have hit the switch, and you heard that right? What that was, as we talked about in the first video that some of y'all didn't watch, you need to go back. Come on, people. Watch them in order. Come on now. What that noise was that was the game over relay falling down. So now we are in game over. Now, normally, if the lock relay worked, if that wire wasn't busted, when I hit this left button, that outside switch there, the inside switch, whenever that one closes, that would turn that lock relay on. But it can't because the freaking wires broke that they may have done on purpose. You don't think they did, do you? I hope not. So if I push that in, it's not going to, and normally when it pulled in, it would hold itself on, but it can't because the coil won't work. So I'm just going to push it in, and it should turn on the back box lights. Yep. And it's turning on the playfield lights. So it should hold on the whole time you play it. So if I wouldn't have taken the zip tie off, you know, I probably should have checked the wire. Well, it'll be all right, folks. I'm gonna order one. I already ordered one. It just hasn't got here yet. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna rig it closed again, and then we're gonna see if when we put the playfield down, if the game will start. We tried to start it at the end of the previous video. It did not work. We haven't cleaned everything yet, but maybe we can get farther. Okay, so I wedged it shut. Here's where we were last time. Now, when I dropped the ball into the out hole last time, the score motor started turning and it just kept doing its thing and blah, 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 blah. But I don't think it's going to happen this time. Before we had these lights on. Now we have these lights on. Okay, I think those are game over. Let's see. Yeah, so it's dead. Okay. So, I can't start it because that's not the start button. That's the Gunsmoke button. And I'm not so sure that start button's going to work because it's missing the coin unit in the back, the replay unit. Not the coin unit, the replay unit. And they didn't hack the wires together. So there's a switch that opens on that when you get to 0. And if that switch is open, you can't start the game. But they may have already fixed that. Let me find something to jam it closed with. And if you didn't see on the previous video, they painted over the thing that shows you how many games are on it. So there's something that don't add up. Let's try hitting this little switch on the side. This one that we don't know what the crap it does. It's not doing nothing. Okay, let's try hitting this one that is actually the start switch. Nothing. I don't understand why they did it like this, but I think they may have just had the thing rigged up to where it was always in gameplay mode and the game never ended or something. I don't know. But without that replay unit in there, you have to short a couple of these wires together or it will think that it's out of credits the whole time. So that's where we're at. We can't start a game, but we have got it to go into game over mode because of allowing the lock relay to relax. So we're getting there. So I've ordered a coil for the lock relay. I have ordered the replay unit for the back box, which was cool that I found that. I ordered some flipper bushings for the flippers because one of them looks like it's been dragging. I ordered a start button for the coin door. So we'll have that in soon. And then, what was the other thing? There was something else minor that I ordered. I don't remember. But anyway, so all that stuff's coming. So whenever it gets here, we'll be able to put that in. So there you go, folks. I hope you enjoyed it so far. We didn't get much accomplished yet, but we're working through it. I don't think it'll be long. Guy Audi coin service. Guy Audi, jukeboxes and games. 1076 Parsons Avenue, California, 82320. Hawaii, 49191. This dude was running jukeboxes and pinball machines in California and Hawaii. What a stud. Man. And his last name was Adi. Dude's cool. All right, so hope you enjoyed it so far, even though we can't get the thing to do anything. Oh, let's make sure the flippers don't work now. Yeah, because we're in game over. There's a little piece of plastic that's supposed to go here that says game over. Then up here it says ball in play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's that. So leave your comments below. Let us know what you think so far. Make sure to give us a thumbs up for taking the trouble to film all this for you. You know, I could just work on it alone and not tell you about it. But I want y'all to come along with us. It's more interesting if I have somebody to explain it to, and I can say, hey, look how cool that is. And then I just imagine that y'all think it's cool too, right? So make sure to check out my brother Donnie if you haven't seen him before. My brother Donnie has his own channel here on YouTube. The link is down below. Someone told me, hey, you didn't say what the name of his channel was. It's called the My Brother Donnie channel. So we work on pinball machines, arcade games, and jukeboxes. My brother Donnie works on old buildings, old vehicles, things like that. I'm over there with him a lot. I was just talking to him a little bit earlier about a mobile home that we purchased that we are renovating. An old mobile home that's all beat up. It's pretty fun. Somebody turned it into a convenience store. And so we bought it and we're trying to turn it back into a house. Lots of fun. So make sure to check that out if you haven't already. And hey, you want to know how you can support our channel? If you find yourself where you're going to buy something on Amazon, there's a link down below to Amazon that has our signature in it, basically. It's got a little URL code in there. So if you click our link, then the people at Amazon go, hey, Joe's Classic Video Games sent you here. Anything you buy, we're going to give them 3%. And so that's how it works. It's a different percentage depending on what you buy, but that's pretty much how it works. So if you're going to buy anything on Amazon, click our link first, and that will give us a little percentage of whatever you buy. It doesn't raise your prices. You don't have to sign up for anything or anything like that. All you got to do is use that link. So that's that. We got to wait for some parts to come in. We need to work in the back box, and I need to get that wired up so that it doesn't think that it's out of credits. This is a very strange thing. I don't understand why they've hacked it the way that they have. If anybody has any ideas about those 2 extra hacks that we found that I couldn't figure out, post them down below, and we will see you on the next one. We'll see you back in about 2 days.